to Mentee shortly. It'll just be one moment. Thank you. And we're just waiting on one or two more team members to join us, so please be patient as we prepare to start. Thank you. And Victor, have you heard back from Angie yet?
Yes, she was still in the call. I think she will be with us soon.
Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. So welcome everybody to Horizen Weekly Insider number 158. I apologize for the error on the Weekly Insider number last week, but we will be continuing on with the correct numbers going forward. Today is Monday, October 31st, so happy Halloween, everybody. Thank you all for joining us, and please be aware that this call is being recorded and will also be available for you to check out later on in the Horizen podcast. Also, please remember to ask your questions for the team on Mentee. I'll be sharing the link shortly and pinning it to the space. And this week, let's go ahead and kick it off with our product team. Welcome, Victor.
Thank you, Erika. I just shared, as usual, the slide resuming all the progress we've done. And about go-to-market for our EVM sidechain, there are some updates for the outreach. We are actually refining an internal list of the main player that we would like to have on our day one, since our day one with the EVM sidechain. And while we have defined the first early MVP for the documentation of the EVM sidechain itself, we will also restrict it a bit, the focus of this documentation, in order to have the integration guidelines part ready very shortly, in order to get an early access to our early testers, and who is helping us test and finding all that we are missing for the EVM sidechain, if any. About testing, we are happy to announce that about framework compatibility, we've moved and reached a big milestone, because we have successfully assessed that we are compatible also with Web3.js. And by deploying some dApps running also not only Solidity code, let's say, but also backend and the front end, we discovered that we have an incompatibility with the WebSocket that has been addressed, and let's say that next week the people that will work on it will be free to start this new flow. Meanwhile, we are working on a quick solution to unblock our partners for the deploying. While for the documentation, apart from what I've said earlier for the focus, we had done a review of our outline following an analysis that was done by one of the team member, comparing also what's out there, and to, let's say, have it with an eye on user experience and design. That's all from me. I pass it over to Angie.
All right. Thanks, Victor. And hi, everybody. Happy Monday. So some updates from our side on the TokenMint platform. So we received audit reports last Friday, just as we had planned, which is good. And right now, our team is assessing the vulnerability levels and fixes required for that. So we're going to be moving forward with that and proceeding with the fixes, and then starting preparations for the mainnet release. So as promised, we are on track with that, but please bear with us because we need to pay closer attention to the reports we received. And then on the EVM tools support side, so we continue making good progress for Cobalt, our web wallet, to support EVM sidechain. We've added a custom network feature, and transaction history UI features as well are under review right now. And all of these new features to support EVM and Cobalt are going to be under feature flag, but we're making good progress on that work stream. Also, another good news is that our sidechain faucet is complete. And as I mentioned last week, this is for people to be able to claim a testnet Zen from Cobalt. So now it is ready for internal testing, and we're going to be proceeding with those activities. Regarding some other things going on with EVM, designs for our website are in progress as well, and some of them have already been completed. And documentation workflows as well. We had some very good sessions last week about how the documentation is going to look for different audiences, especially for developers, for users, and for enterprises. So all of this content is being reviewed and added constantly. So very, very excited to be supporting EVM from the tools side. And that's it for me. Thank you. And back to you, Erika.
Thank you, Angie. And now I'd like to welcome Roberto, not to be confused with Rob, for the engineering updates.
Hi, everybody. Okay, this is Roberto. Happy Halloween. So, as usual, let's get started with Zendu. Quality setting code, we reverted to the original code changes. So remember, there was a field cryptographically enforced to zeros, and we have reverted to the original code, and now we are proceeding with the internal review. The other work stream for the main chain team is an integration testing extension to cover all the corner case identified with the latest code changes. We are also working on another feature regarding non-system sidechain and transaction fee management. The review has been completed, so we are addressing all the changes have been addressed. We are now implementing those changes and performing the final commit. Then, for what regard Blaze, specifically the key rotation management, we are even in this work stream finalizing the integration test, performing the final review of all the code changes. The design of the sidechain to sidechain communication protocol is still in progress, and we have a couple of updates regarding the auditing. There are updates regarding the auditing of the Sparks library. We have started addressing some of the issue founds. And also, the entire SDK code base has been audited. There was the first round of feedback has been gathered from our auditing partner, and we are analyzing all of them. Regarding the secure enclave, code completion, it's okay on the SDK. So there was a review of the overall implementation with the infrastructure team, the team supporting all the hardware and software infrastructure. And so this activity is in progress. And we have agreed on a couple of issues how to move forward. And also we have involved our partner again to audit both the code and the overall architecture of the solution that we have designed. Then, for what regards CVM, again, total review of the SDK account, EVM app changes have been completed. Now we are working through all the comments and planning the next activities. Basically, we are prioritizing all of them and planning what's next. In collaboration with the smart contract team ongoing, we have addressed the issue, and some of them will be embedded in the next deployment, which will be on our testnet. It's a testnet milestone 2 version 2. So there will be a new release next Wednesday. We've also fixed the compatibility issue Victor was mentioning. It's on the Web3 JavaScript library. And we are testing also in our private no regression network a new block configuration for the NFT marketplace deployment. Lastly, the proving system progresses. Plonky 2 coprocessor. Okay, we have completed the review, all comments addressed. So now it's finally been approved internally. Our cryptographic research team is working on optimized matrix for the external and internal rounds of the Poseidon permutation on Kate's hash function, which we are evaluating. And we are also generating a proof of the RISC-0 program. So we are running a RISC-0 program using our core processor and generating a proof. So this is work in progress. Also design a prototype of Monkey-2 verification gadget for a RISC-0 based proof. It's in progress. So we are close to complete this first step of the activity. So the design, writing and design document. And that's it for me. So back to you, Erika.
Thank you, Roberto. And now I'd like to welcome Manon for a special update on punks.
Hi everyone. I wanted to invite you all to the first community-led party that we will have on Punk's Discord. I will share the link on the chat. That's PVM that is hosting this party, and there will be some punks and some Zen to win. So let's come to the party.
And we'll also be sharing the Discord link on the Horizen Twitter, so look for it there as well. And now I'd like to welcome Rod for the leadership updates and Q&A session.
Thank you, Erica. Hello, everyone, and happy Halloween. Happy Bitcoin White Paper Day. Thanks, Ross, for reminding me about that. Kind of a big event in our world here. Okay, so without naming dates and going, spilling beans to what Angie was saying, you guys heard that we're wrapping up the final stuff to go to mainnet with NFTs on Token Mint. So stay tuned. And I will say, literally, just stay tuned as of right now, because this is imminent as far as things can be imminent in the crypto world. So some admin things I'll just mention. First of all, a thank you to someone on Twitter tweeting at me, someone by the name of Just Me, Not Financial Advice. By the way, that's a great name. Nothing we say should be construed as financial advice. Thanks for tweeting at me with some questions and recommendations. First of all, a question on kind of the security around our privacy system on the main chain. There was an idea that I really wanted us to pursue some years ago when there was a vulnerability in the shielded pool we inherited from Zcash on doing something like a firewall around that pool. It's something that we logged and never actioned years ago, but it's nice getting these kinds of questions from the community, because it certainly jars your memory. And now we have a much more of a team where we can actually log that and action it to see if it's something that makes sense and we want to do for increased security on our chain, which you guys, if you've been following me for, or listening to me on these insiders for years now, security is certainly one of my main concerns. Also, a suggestion from the same Just Me, Not Financial Advice on recommending that we look at Decred's DEX, their decentralized exchange, for integrating Zen in there. Thanks for the recommendation. I just replied back on Twitter, and Vana will check it out to see if it makes sense for us and understand the scope of what that would mean. But I will say, though, this EVM project is the biggest deal that we're working on right now, because rather than integrating onto a particular DAX here or there with like older school technology, not that it's bad, but we can implement really state-of-the-art AMMs and DEXs with our smart contracting platform in short order when that thing goes live. But anyway, love when people reach out and make suggestions, ask questions, and just get chatter going, just because it shows that you care, and sometimes just jars old memories that are useful to look back into. Another admin item, we are going to be bringing on a head of security at Horizen Labs. This is a role that I've been looking to fill for some time. Again, my obsession with security, I think it's such a foundational thing for us, and we're probably at that point of scale where not only can we afford it now, but it's just the right thing to do. It just makes sense, and I'm looking forward to more to come there. But it really signals our continued drift towards being what I'm considering kind of a clustering of value prop for Horizen, of being a highly secure and dependable system or ecosystem, right? So that means the technology upon which we build our foundations has to be as secure and dependable as possible. We've done things like 51% attack prevention, like with a delayed block penalty system on the main chain. We've done things like intentionally build out or encourage a very large node ecosystem. It's a work in progress, though, and security is never done. It's never a done deal, and you can never declare that you are, a completely secure system, but we can and should always be trending in that direction. Okay, other updates. I got off of a great, and I will say slightly painful, product council call earlier this morning, and I say that lovingly to the team that was on it regarding the SDK. The takeaways and why I say painful, because it's just time to roll up our sleeves and just get a lot of work done. And the SDK you guys have been hearing about for years, from when it was conceived with the original like Zendu and Lattice construction that we were working towards. The SDK has undergone absolutely significant changes over the last year, especially when we realize, okay, it's time to start getting sidechains to mainnet. And that means some pragmatic things needed to be done, like layering in a different type of circuit. No, it's not fully decentralized like the original Lattice construction. Full decentralization is our goal. Clearly, we keep pushing in that direction, but we needed to get some things live now. We just had to. We're not going to wait years to get things into production. So we did the pragmatic things and started, modifying the SDK to do things like launch blades so that we can have chains go live like token mint, and then refactoring the SDK entirely to be account-based from UTXO so that we can get things like an EVM. Now we're really in that sausage-making phase, as Rosario likes to say, where there's just so much work that has been mapped out with dependencies and everything in different versions, features that go into versions. And I have to say, I have never been more proud of the team for just the level of sophistication and management going into this thing now, so that we actually get firm deliverables like SDK 0.7.0 lined up for release for the EVM. This is the SDK version, this is a dependency for the EVM that has all of the features that we need so that the users, or from the user's experience, for those like developer users who want to take this SDK and launch their own chains, like we're doing with our EVM chain, you have what you need. At least minimally, you have what you need. You have a secure enclave for proper key management. You have at least the interface laid in for the sidechain to sidechain protocol. And yes, I said interface laid in, not the actual sidechain to sidechain protocol. Again, we want to do things modularly so that when we can get components to production quicker and not wait for everything to be done simultaneously before we go into production with something. It's just our way of doing things nowadays, and I have to say it's much more efficient and organized. So that's that. Going down the list, you heard Roberto talking about work that the crypto team's doing, like looking at risk zero and understanding what we would have to do in order to advance that ZK virtual machine in the Horizen ecosystem. Again, when we talk about full decentralization, it means things like a ZK virtual machine. So this is exactly the work that we need to be doing. No, it's not Lattice, like the original construction of what we were doing, but I can say we weren't paying attention to the market much as we should have years ago when we came up with, not when we came up with Lattice, that's not the thing. It was actually extremely novel in pushing that frontier of technology, but the frontier shifts all the time. And in particular, in the ZK space, the technology frontier shifts rapidly. And what we realized was the original construction with the Marlin circuit, if you guys remember, we invented a proving system for the Lattice product that we were envisioning. It was based on a proving system named Darlin, it was Darlin based on Marlin. Now we realize that the world of ZK has advanced so much more rapidly over the last couple of years that we actually have ZK virtual machines that are feasible, and you're seeing them in other parts of the industry being deployed into kind of like baby alpha versions and with other alpha versions planned. Still early days in the ZK VM space, but this is how we get to full decentralization and flexible smart contract computation on blockchains. Anyway, so when you hear Roberto or other people talking about risk zero, work that we're doing, this is on the research and the cryptographic engineering side, so that we're keeping track of the current state of the art and looking at how we can integrate this stuff into our own stack. Now, this isn't imminent work that's going to be deployed into mainnet anytime soon, but it's absolutely critical so that as we're deploying things that are important, or I would say critical for us to deploy now, like the EVM, we're still doing that hard legwork and research so that we're going to be competitive in the coming years. So anyway, a lot there, guys, and I'll probably stop here. Other than I want to give a huge shout out to the marketing team. Yeah, random, saying the marketing team's doing a great job. But guys, I was just reviewing, we do a weekly activity report, and I was kind of blown away. Actually, Ross and I were reviewing the marketing section. You guys do so much work. So I was going to say, otherwise, guys, it's business as usual. But really, wow, marketing team, you're doing so much. Like just running through the list, There's 7 ongoing high-profile media opportunities this week being worked on, token mint campaign, EVM prep work, so that we not just go live with some random EVM, but we're actually putting real thought into naming conventions, doing analysis research for competitive positioning, looking at UX, UI analysis, doing website work, doing EVM FAQs, a lot there. Discord restructuring. Erica, I think you had the fun job last week of doing that. A more dev-oriented Discord, your framework for us. SEO, data analytics, always ongoing, new academy content. Guys, I'm impressed. And if you guys want to check out any of the impressive work this team is doing, I'd say start with Discord, come on there, chat with us, but also check out the Academy. The Academy is just something that we constantly get such positive feedback from random community members, even from academics at universities who are teaching their students blockchain, are actually coming back with just great feedback for us on our own Academy. Anyway, I'll stop here and we can open it up to Q&A. And if not, that's all I got.
Thank you, Rob, and we all appreciate the shout out. Very much appreciated. Anyways, so we do have our top questions for the week. And the first one is, when Cobalt Mobile? So product team.
I can jump in on that one. So it's certainly on our backlog. We know that Cobalt Mobile would be a great addition to one of our products, but it's certainly not a big priority right now, just because most of our efforts are going towards EVM and the supporting tools for that. So I hate to be the one giving the bad news. It's certainly something that we are considering, but just not for now. Like I mentioned, it's all going to be about Cobalt EVM support and just continuing to develop very exciting tools and features for that effort. So, but certainly, if there's we're not close to the thought of if there's big demand for that and we see a very big use case for that, of course, would jump in priority if that's the case. Thanks.
It's so fun. Let me just add, over the weekend, I sent an email to our product team, and yes, I'm also very interested in mobile here, and not just mobile, but having a coherent wallet strategy for the project. And I think mobile has to be part of it. But like Angie said, we have a lot of other things ongoing right now, and kind of a small team still. So we have to rank and prioritize these things.
Very well put, both of you. Okay, so the next question is a bit lengthy. So it says, seeing that both development activity and contributor count on Horizen are at an all-time high, how do you measure in-house productivity and gauge how things are moving in the right direction?
I don't know who wants to take that one. Maybe someone on the product side, or the engineering side. But I do say, from a company perspective or org perspective, we're actually starting to dabble, I'll say, with OKRs and KPIs. So we are definitely tracking performance. And there was a really cool chart that I think John and Rosario put together a couple of months ago on like the product engineering group's productivity levels in particular, where they were measuring sprints and storyboards per sprint. And you could just see like this almost exponential increase and the output from the teams. Now we're really applying this to the entire tech organization. Just things have accelerated. So it's really cool that the community's just picking up on some of this activity and output. But I'll say it will have a big, it'll be much more evident as we go into production with things like the EVM, NFTs on Token Mint, and just the kind of swarm of stuff that we're doing in our 2023 roadmap. That productivity and capabilities are going to really come and start bearing fruit. And yeah, I don't know if anyone else wants to answer that, but I mean, we definitely do track productivity.
Does anybody else want to hop in on that? I think Rob answered it quite well, though. Okay, it looks like not. So the final question for the week is, where can we test EVM?
Okay, Victor, maybe you want to chime in on there?
Yes. Yeah, actually, some early, let's say, early joiners have already started testing in testnet. We will keep it as a closed alpha at the moment. We will end up sharing some details with you when the official documentation will be out. So the details will be out there, I think, starting December.
Okay. Well, that's it for the Weekly Insider, everybody. Thank you all so much for joining us this week.